Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hey, I found this show on Netflix. It's number 5 on the list. It's on the top 5, and it's called The Disappearance at Clifton Hill. Uh, this girl, man, she's tormented by a disturbing childhood memory, basically. I'm just reading off the screen. A young woman returns to her hometown in Niagara Falls, which is a place I like to visit, by the way, and uncovers a grim detail of a boy's abduction. Now, she is there with her family and her younger sister, and her mom and dad takes a picture of her. But when she goes to, at first the movie opens up where she's catching the fish and she's got the fish and she's all excited. Well, she runs over to this little spigot that has water come out because they're at this Niagara Fall area. And so she's a little girl. So she runs over here and then she sees this little boy with his eye looked like it was badly damaged and it was wrapped up. And he looked like he was around the same age she was. And he looked at her and did like this. And then there was this car that was up on because they was down in this down a little bit. And then there was a road up at the top. And she can look up and she was little. When she seen where these two people got out and they was looking for him. And then when he took off and ran, it showed her looking at them abducting him and grabbing him and hitting him and knocking him out and throwing him in the trunk. Well, she had to live with that memory until she got like in her, early 30s. So she come back because her mom passed away. Her mom had a hotel that was at this Niagara Falls place, but in this area where Niagara Falls this place is at, her mom passed away and this big development company wants to tear down that hotel. And so after mom passed away, she left the hotel to her younger daughter and this young lady here that's tormented by that little boy that disappeared back in the day. So she comes back and then all they have to do is sign papers and just take whatever money that they was going to offer them because the hotel was kind of run down. Nobody's using it no more. And, but she didn't want to do it. So the younger girl is like kind of upset because these developers wants to tear this thing down because it's almost like it kind of when I was watching the film, it looked like it was almost looking like a little mini Las Vegas area in this Niagara Falls area. It's just, and it was right where you can just walk and cross the bridge and go over to the border to Canada. It was pretty slick. Anyway, she was hell bent on trying to find out what happened to this little boy. And so she started snooping around, and then as she snooped around, she was getting herself in trouble because, the cops was thinking that she was kind of half crazy, and then the people that was in charge, the guy that was in charge with trying to unload this hotel was getting frustrated with her because she was holding up these people wanting to tear the place down. So he was getting frustrated because her mom had left that motel to them girls. And the younger sister, she's married, and she's getting upset with her sister because her sister's had some issues in the past. So they don't know whether to believe her or not. But I tell you what, it took me like 3 days to get through this thing, due to my job. And I really enjoyed this movie. I think what I like about movies like this is I think that I'm following her. And how you watch a movie and you're thinking, is there something wrong with her? Because I'm watching this movie and I'm like believing her story. She's digging and progging. Then she has this guy that's got this little podcast. He's an older guy. And he's a guy that actually swims in Niagara Falls to get dead bodies out that passed away, but he could never find that little boy's body. And so this is how this movie is set up. And then there's this guy that's well off where his dad passed away, but he took over his dad's business. He's kind of like a jerk. And then she thinks that he has something to do. It has all these little connections to these people that had this disappearance of this little boy. And then on top of that, his mom and dad of the little boy that disappeared was these like they had these things where they were they had a tiger, and they did a show over in Canada. And so when she started putting things together, she was thinking that maybe that tiger mauled that little boy. and they tried to cover up his death. But at the meantime, they had this other couple that was blackmailing those parents because when she went to talk to those parents was like, you know, they were very rude to her because they said that, you know, we don't know what happened. I think they knew what happened to their boy, but nobody could never find the body. So this is how this movie is just progressively going. And so she starts poking and progging and digging and everything like that, and then she starts finding a lot of stuff. And that's what I love about this movie, because for the 3 days it took me to watch this movie, I just stayed with it. You know, I turn it off, I go to bed, I go to work, I come home, I work out, then I go back in, I watch it, fall asleep, go to work, come back. It took me 3 or 4 days to get through it because of my lifestyle. But man, I tell you what, there was no unnecessary sex. There was no seeing a girl in the shower and seeing her boobs and stuff. It was just a straight up trying to figure out what happened to this little boy. And then after you start seeing all the little things, and she was determined. I gotta give her credit. She was determined. But the show was making it look like, at first I was like, well, damn, girl, you're really losing it. Because I thought she was really losing it. And then she finally convinced her sister, because her sister never did believe her, because her sister said that, I guess her older sister always had a knack of telling stories, and it was never true. So her younger sister, when they got older, just never didn't know if she can believe or not. And then when she got in trouble because she stole her sister's passport to get back across to the United States, because there's a little bridge from Canada to the United States. And so she got sick because she had this drink that she was drinking. I don't know if they put something in her. She fainted. Then when she woke up, you know, her sister, she woke up and they took her to the police department. And, you know, they was looking at her, and then her sister was like disgusted. And then that's when they started telling her that, come find out, she did have prior problems of when she was in the United States somewhere over, I think, I forgot where she was at. And then her younger sister was listening there, and her younger sister didn't know that. And she was sitting there, as her younger sister was looking at her, and she goes, is this true? Because her younger sister found out that her older sister had these issues. And then they said your mom actually had to take money and a loan against the property of the hotel. And then the younger sister was like, and she didn't know that. But then it made her look like this investigation for this little boy that she was trying to find, it made her look like she was even more crazier, because nowadays, like, her younger sister's like, well, I don't know what to believe. So she like broke down, started crying. And then after that, her sister didn't know what to think. When after that, she went back to her sister's house, because she had to stay at her sister's house because they locked up her motel that her mom owned, because that guy wanted it and wanted to tear it down, so she couldn't get back in. So, but then the guy that took over for his dad's business, which his dad passed away and handed him the business down, he had something to do with that. So there was all these connecting tissues about this boy disappearing. And the ending is crazy, because I was like, what? Because I always kept sitting there watching this show going, so what really happened to this boy? Did he really die? Because I guess you could fall down Niagara Falls, and sometimes I guess you can't find the body. And then they said that sometimes the body hits the rocks, and over a period of time the body disintegrates and all this kind of stuff, because this older guy who had a podcast, that was his job, to retrieve all these dead bodies, and that's what he did most of his life. But this movie is very, very good. It's just that with my job and me working out 4 days a week, and I'm a very active guy, and I work every day, and it's a very, very physical job. I be tired sometimes, so I can't watch all this stuff, you know, I mean, like straight through, because I get sleepy. But other than that, this is solid. This is solid. This is seriously solid. I was very, very, very impressed. So anyway, Disappearance at Clifton Hill. It's wow. Netflix, you did it again. God bless you. Take care. This is an hour and 40 minutes, and yeah, we'll catch you next video. We'll see you.